The final track on JID's 2022 album, The Forever Story, is the most important song in his entire discography. Not only is it the closing track on one of the greatest hip-hop projects of this century, it's the story of one of the greatest hip-hop artists of this century. 2007 is the story of how JID became JID. He goes through the most pivotal moments and important influences in his life and how that shaped his career going forward. What he raps about first is J. Cole's debut mixtape The Come Up, which was released in May of 2007. This is what introduced J. Cole to the world, and J. Cole is who would later introduce the world to JID in a sense. At the same time The Come Up was released, JID was still in high school and he was a star football player. His plan was never to rap, his plan was to join the NFL as a cornerback, but unfortunately for him, he never had a growth spurt and still to this day is 5'6", which is about half a foot shorter than the average NFL cornerback. Okay. By 2009, the same year J. Cole dropped The Warm Up, JID had graduated high school and was attending Hampton University, where he accepted a full athletic scholarship to play NCAA Division I football. At the same time, he was writing and occasionally rapping. He would often freestyle over beats made by the guy who lived in the dorm beside him, but he was just doing it for fun. It would be 2 years later, in 2011, when he would be kicked off the football team and actually out of school entirely. Around this time, though, he had heard about and then would meet two up-and-coming rappers who were from Atlanta, same as JID, but were attending Hampton University, same as JID. These two rappers were Dr. Dot and Johnny Venus, more commonly known together as Earth Gang. Earth Gang would later become JID's longest-running collaborators with features on pretty much every album from both sides. They formed Spillage Village together in 2010 and would both be signed to Dreamville in 2017. But it was a combination of being kicked out of school and losing his chance at playing football and meeting Earth Gang for the first time that made him want to put more time and effort into rapping. In 2011, J. Cole released Cole World, The Sideline Story, which at the time, as said by Ibrahim Hamad, the co-founder of Dreamville Records, J. Cole was under a lot of pressure from the record labels because he hadn't made it big yet. He didn't have a mainstream radio hit. But with the release of The Sideline Story, he did reach a broader audience as the lead single Work Out peaked at 13 on the Billboard Hot 100. Now, another important project JID mentions is Kendrick Lamar's debut album Section 80, which was released on July 2nd, 2011. When Section 80 is mentioned, within the background music, the beat for High Power can be heard.
Section 80 drop, yeah, we used to play that shit to death, and if I recollect correct, you tried to sign up for yourself.
This sample can only be heard on the YouTube version and not on other streaming sites like Spotify or Apple Music because of a clearance problem. This only lasts less than 10 seconds, but in the short amount of time, he's able to talk about listening to Section 80 and how J. Cole wanted to get Kendrick to sign to his label. It was around this time in 2011 and 2012 where there was a shift in JID's life. He was no longer in school and was going down a path that maybe wasn't the best choice: drinking, drugs, stealing, getting neck tattoos. And his father found out that JD wasn't going back to school and was pursuing rap as a legitimate career. At first, his father was not on board with his new life plan and would kick him out, making him live out of the back of his car, a gold Pontiac gifted to him by his grandmother. But his father would eventually come around to the idea of his rap career, saying,
I know whatever he put his all into, it was gonna be golden.
Between 2010 and 2017, not a lot happened. He released a few mixtapes and he would go on a few tours, first with Ab-Soul on his 2013 These Days tour, and it would be at the end of this where J. Cole and JID would meet for the first time thanks to Doughburger and Sed Brown. In 2016, JID would open for Tory Lanez on his I Told You tour. The line in 2007 where JID talks about Tory is censored as there is some bad blood between the two now.
And I'm coming off a tour with...
It all started during an Instagram Live where Tory said he was better than every artist who signed to Dreamville, not true, and was planning to take them all down. It didn't happen. Then there was a Twitter argument and some more Instagram Lives, but ultimately nothing ever came of it. Jumping forward a little bit to 2017, JID was about to sign to Coach K's label, Quality Control, known for artists like Cardi B, Migos, Rich the Kid, and Lil Yachty, among others. But J. Cole stopped him and said,
Oh, say, hold on, wait, bro, I got the plan, so come on.
On February 20th, 2017, Dreamville Records, J. Cole's label, announced JID as the newest member. And less than a month later, on March 10th, his debut album, The Never Story, would drop. This album had 4 singles: Never, which was released in late 2016, but was officially announced as the lead single on the same day it was announced he had joined Dreamville. On March 6th, 2017, he revealed the full track list for the project, along with the release of the second single, Division, which features Earth Gang. The last 2 singles would later on get their own music videos, first Hereditary in September of 2017, and finally Ed, Ed, and Eddie in February of 2018. With each passing year, JID became more and more successful, gaining more fans and getting better reviews. DiCaprio 2, the follow-up to a previously released EP, would be released almost 2 years after The Never Story. And the critically acclaimed The Forever Story, which features 2007, would be released 4 years after that. 2025 was probably his most successful year yet. With the release of God Does Like Ugly, he earned himself 2 Grammy nominations, one for Best Melodic Rap Song and the other for Best Rap Album. 2007 closes with a monologue done by J. Cole, who talks about meeting JID for the first time and realizing he has what it takes to become one of the greats, not only talent-wise, but within his drive, ambition, and just the look in his eyes. J. Cole noticed it immediately because he himself had that same look back in 2007.